Okay, well, folks, first of all, happy Independence Day for those of you in the US and happy Canada Day. Well, happy Canada weekend. We just passed this weekend. So hope you guys had a great time. If you're listening in on Facebook Live, we want to thank you for joining in. You're certainly welcome to share your feedback. And Lucy, welcome. I noticed you guys just kind of joined in. And this evening, what we want to do is we want to talk about a very important point. Now, we've covered that in many different occasions, but we structured it today in a way that we can give you a certain kind of platform to begin. It's like if you're in business, you kind of need to organize the foundation of your organization. What is your business plan? What is your strategy? What are the goals? What are the steps? What are the things that you're going to be focusing on for you to be able to achieve these milestones? Because I mean, that's how I've always run my businesses in the past. When I had my karate business, when I started my network marketing company, I knew that I had that much for my mortgage and I needed that much for my car payment and needed that much for the lifestyle. And I knew what amount of money was my base foundation. And from there, I knew, okay, I need to make that amount of money. From that point on, let's step back. And what are the steps that we need to do? Of course, we need to prospect, we need to recruit, we need to bring customers, we need to bring associates, we need to create an environment, all of these things. But what are the areas that a brand new person need to focus on? And that's what we want to talk about today. And it's nothing that you haven't heard before, but it's recorded. And also, after the call is recorded, as you know, we always upload them on the Active Team Training YouTube channel. And there's a playlist that is specifically called the Go for Diamond webinars. And from there, all of the recordings are there. Now, on the comments section, I will put the links that I'm going to share today with you so you can have a context to go back to and actually access the documents that we're going to be referencing for you to be able to have a context on exactly what are the steps and what you need to actually have access to as you are building your business. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk, well, it's the beginning of the month, right? So we wanted to talk about starting strong and having a strategy in building your business and not waiting till mid-month or having that overwhelm and stress towards the end of the month, chasing people. It's never a good thing in business. And people have a sense of feeling that when you're desperate to, create volumes and stuff like that. That's why it's so important to have a lot of the work done up front at the beginning, and then the rest is the relationship building, answering questions, following through, following up, getting people started right, and the process continues from there. So we wanted to talk about that this evening. You know, Chris kind of tapped in a little bit about business and coming from traditional business and the strategies and goals that we both had to create. We were walking today talking about that. You know, when you open the door and open the store, close the store. Chris, in his case, it was a karate studio. In my case, it was a boutique and a manufacturing company. And there had to be a lot of structure at the beginning of the month. And so it applies the same to what we're doing. You know, a lot of the time, most people that come into network marketing come in with an employee mindset or are employees, and they have to learn different ways to become an entrepreneur, because network marketing is being an entrepreneur. Is being in control every single day of the actions that you take in your business. You decide when you're opening the store and when you're closing the store, right? So this is important that you come into this with a mindset as an entrepreneur if you want to go up the ranks and succeed in this business. So it's totally up to you. I know that we're speaking to a core group here on Zoom and probably some on Facebook. I know a lot of Filipinos are joining us on the Facebook platform, and I know a lot of the Africans and some other international markets are sleeping, and they're going to catch this recording. So it's important that everybody gets a hold of this training, because shift is critical in network marketing if we want to succeed. And I knew that at the very beginning, because I'll be honest with you, when I started network marketing, I wanted to make a little bit of money. And I wanted to have something different. And I didn't even know that lifestyle change would be possible at that point. So I was out there selling products. And it was easy because I had a social network, and I'm sure all of you have social networks. You've got friends that you can connect with and move some products, which is great. You're going to make a little bit of money. But it wasn't until I created that shift and started treating this profession like a profession, like I had a profession as a business owner. When I started to create that shift in my mind first, and then my actions went with it. And of course, we had always had strategies, and we always had strategy meetings at the beginning. And I know a lot of you were part of the Freedom Formula program. And remember, every month we did that. We had that strategy layout there. So it's important to be doing this every single beginning of the month to set yourself up right so that you'll get the results that you're looking for at the end of the month. And I know Chris wanted to share with you some of the strategies that a lot of people are taking on today. I'm sure you've heard of 631. Who's heard of 631? You heard of the word 631? I mean, it's out there everywhere. A lot of the leaders are doing this. If
Yeah,
you're
that's a
on
little
the
bit down the
boards,
line. It's a little bit down the line, Tammy. So I just, so before we get into that, I just
Okay,
wanted
so
to
go
cover
ahead.
some, yeah, I just wanted to cover some of the basics first. I'm always thinking, okay, the person who's looking at this for the very first time, brand new, they don't know, what to do for that. They just have no idea. And want to give you some guidelines, and this is what it is. And just to add to what Timmy was saying, one of the biggest challenge that I see, and I'm saying this because I'm hearing Eric Worre talking about this with the core leadership that he has. We used to have 3 hours in 1 month. Now we have 1 hour 3 times in a month spread out. And I see, it's really interesting where the commonality on the things that he says and we say and others are saying. And what's interesting is it always seems to be the folks that are making good money in network marketing, and they're repeating the same things over and over and over and over. And what's happening is a lot of people get into this business and they wing it. They don't have any specific target. They don't have any specific plans. They just get, kind of go with the flow. And if someone wants to become a customer, great, we'll put them as a customer, and maybe I can convert them into an associate, hopefully. And it's kind of the way they go about their business, where Tammy and I are very strategic. We know exactly how much money we needed, and we know exactly how much money now we are aiming for to be able to reach our retirement dream, our retirement goals. And the thing is, we can't do this by ourselves. I mean, this is the kind of business that you just cannot go singular and achieve these by yourself. It doesn't work that way. It's a community, and that community also needs to benefit. They need to grow. They need to earn an income, because if these things don't happen, then it doesn't matter how much money you want to make or how big you want to grow in this kind of business. It's never going to change. So you need to create that sense of community. But for people to stick around and for people to achieve, we need to show them the targets. And that's what tonight is all about. So I'm just going to share my screen number 1. Okay, you can see the nice mountains over here. And let me click on, okay, so the very first thing that I want to focus on here, sorry guys, I'm just moving things around on my screen so I can see things properly. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do is you want people to know where the tools are. You know, what are the tools? Where do I have access to these things? So the very first thing, it's quite obvious. And let me shift that over here. There we go. Okay, it's our team website. So this is something that it's important, right? This is you don't see Chris and Tammy here. I mean, yes, we're in some areas, but at the end of the day, what you see is a group of people, leaders, okay? And what it is from there, what you really want to focus on is the pin board, okay? And you want to make sure that they have access to the active team group board. Now, for that, one of the things that we have created here is we did a video on this. And by the way, like I said, every single links that I'm clicking on right now will be listed on the comment section once the video is uploaded on an active team. And if I don't have to repeat, you can just go back to the beginning of the call and listen to the details of where it's going to be located. And the first thing that you want to do, let me just copy the URL over here. Okay. And you want to send them this link over here. Okay. So again, this link can be found on the active team training. I think it's right at the top. And this is a training that we did with our cell phones on how to download and use the board. Okay. So that's the one thing you wanted to be aware of, because I find that if people have the right tools on hand, it's really interesting, but you don't have to do as much hand holding. But if you do everything for them all the time, then you never stop because they're used to it. It's like a child that grows up where mama and papa, they constantly feed, they constantly give you money, they constantly tell you what to do, they constantly, you know what I mean? So they never have a chance to grow and evolve because they're enabled by the parents that are doing everything all the time. So the kids have no worries in the world and they don't have to deal with all the growing pains. So what I like to do with our leaders and with anybody that comes into the business is for them to do these things by themselves. For me, these are the red flags. If they're not doing these things, that tells me, why should I spend time with a person who's not willing to do their homework? Because I know that in the long term, they're always going to depend on me for the rest of my life. And it's not what I sign up for. I sign up for the kind of business where we are breeding leadership, and the leadership are breeding new leadership. And this is how this works. So from there, for me, is when I send that to them, it's so simple. And you will find it once they have access to this particular video, right? Then I don't know if you can hear the sound.
Okay, so use your cell phone when you go to active.
Okay, were you able to hear that? Okay, so I mean, so that's the point. Okay, and then from there, you tell them where they can access the data, the information. We have a new podcast that's been pulling teeth to get this thing started. Finally, we got it started. You know, we have the events that are taking place over here. And also we're starting to beef up the events, the presentations that are taking place every Tuesday evening. This is for the North American market, which are within the time zones that 8 o'clock, which could be, you know, based on the Pacific and Eastern time. You know, 8 o'clock is kind of like, okay, maybe 5 o'clock, it's a little early for the Pacific time, but it's still something that they can utilize. Otherwise, you can always go back and listen to the recordings or whatever. So the point here is that it's within a time frame that's acceptable. Okay, so Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And we got a virtual assistant to create these wonderful flyers. And every week, she's going to be chasing everybody to make sure that we have commitment for every single slot. And by the way, while we're here, one thing I'd like to mention to all of you, because most of you are presenting here, is take different days and take different slots and mix and match. This is kind of the goal. So everybody learn from each other and everything else. And there's also Lucy that does that in French. And there's Marie-Paul that's also does it in French. And in fact, I'm doing one this in the afternoon on Thursday with Dr. James from Nigeria. So I'm trying to mismatch and present with everybody. So that was kind of a bit of a sideline. But in fact, see, the information is on the website. But the most important thing, folks, is the board. Okay, very, very important. Once they have the board, what's really, really important here, let me just go through it on the website so we can, I don't have to plug in my cell phone here. Okay, so here's a dream board. Let me just log in here directly to the computer. Okay, so this is what you would see on your phone. So you would select English. As you notice, we have French and we have Spanish, and I maintain the 3 languages. Well, I make sure that Marcel, which is also another virtual assistant, phenomenal, who's maintaining this information. And Tammy and I are constantly working and making sure that data is up to date and everything else. And we're establishing clarity. And by the way, if any one of you comes across a challenge, an issue, a problem, an old file, something that talks about something that was there 5 years ago, please do let me know. It's extremely time consuming to go through every single files. So it's very possible that you may come across some older data in there. If that happens, please do let me know, or do let Tammy know, and we'll make sure that it is handled. Now, one of the things that's important when you select the active team group board in English, for example, is the onboarding process. And I recommend that every single one of you watching this video, that it is here live, or if you happen to be watching it in a week, a month, or whatever from now, is go through the onboarding process. Familiarize yourself with the content, because if you familiarize yourself with the content, then you're better prepared to tell a new associate, a new recruit, on exactly where to get what. And you will find that you will evolve better, and your team will evolve better if you are aware of what's going on. So the onboarding it's a very important step. And there's a step one, there's a second step, there's the product information, there's the follow-up. And again, all of that is even explained in the link that I sent with you earlier. So I just kind of want to give you a little bit of review. Okay, so just
Chris, if you go back to the onboarding, because that's where the strategy is. Mm-hmm. And if you just click on the onboarding, mm-hmm. All right, go to first steps. Mm-hmm. All righty, so you can see the map, the strategy right there, the 6-3-1 plan. If you click on that, Chris, it's easy to send it to a new associate. Mm-hmm. It's easy to download, whatever you need to do, but this is the strategy in building. I know that we had the prime bonus where we talk about 5 in the past, and of course now with Albert in Ghana working the strategy with his team, getting huge results. People wanted to try something new. So this is the execution process and to get to bronze.
Now, while you're here,
everybody should follow these steps step by step. There's 5 simple steps. The first one, simple, it's auto ship. The 5th one, duplication.
We'll come back to that, Tammy. Sorry, I know I wrote some notes there. You're probably not looking at them, but I will let you follow through on that, because it's just a little bit ahead. Okay. We're just a little bit ahead here. Okay, so from there, guys, what happens is I'm on my computer. So there's 3 dots. It's simply, obviously, because I have control where I can delete this file if I want, or add more and everything else, because it's the account that we own. But you're on your phone or your computer, you would see, probably on your phone, you would probably see a button here where you can share it. In this case, you can copy on the clipboard, you can paste it wherever you want. Okay, so I'm going to let you figure this out. So again, these are details that are there where you can easily pass on. And this is the thing, is the moment your team gets a hold of that information and those tools, it will facilitate the distribution and the duplication process of your business. And this is what I mean by it's very important to have access to the tools, to make sure that your team have access to the tool. This is the foundation. Once you've established that foundation, it's like teaching your students the ABCs. And once they know the ABCs, then you can start reading, they can start writing, they can start communicating, and hey, some will write books, you know what I mean? Some just have that. They have the skills to, to play with words and do wonderful things. And so that's the point, is everybody will evolve in their own pace as they see fit. You don't have to micromanage people. Okay. In fact, I don't recommend it, but I do recommend to make sure that you are following through and monitoring. Okay. Now, from that on that point, I want to come back to, so let me get rid of these things. Okay, now that I've shared with you some of the foundation, now I'm going to share with you here the links that are available on the active team server documents. And these links will be put again in the comment section on the video, so you won't have to search for them. They'll be available there. So one thing is, the very first thing that we want to do is we want to achieve the our bronze. Okay, this is your strategy. This is your game plan. Is you want to reach bronze. And not only you want to reach bronze, of course, I know there's intermediate steps prior to that. We'll get to that. And that's what these forms we're going to share with you in a moment that you've seen before are all about. But the point is, bronze is the target. And you want to become a bronze factory. If you become a bronze factory, that's when you start rolling the dough. Okay, you start making the money. It's not about getting the diamonds. The diamonds will by default be produced by having bronze produced. Okay, so the first thing that there's two different strategies to reach bronze, and Tammy was touching on it. So I'm just going to click the link that's sitting on the server. Okay, and I'm just going to bring this right over here. Okay, and this is the actual PowerPoint that was created, and there's a video that is actually on YouTube, on a YouTube channel. It will also be there. It will also be on the comment section that will match this actual training. Okay. And Tammy, if you want to go ahead and go through the process on explaining the Max Action Plan 631.
Yeah, so it's on the boards, just so you know. This recording is also on the boards. Correct. In the onboarding process. So so it's a 5 steps. I know that those of you who have been around, you know the steps. For those of you who are looking at this for the first time, because I know we got a lot of new people that have joined Max this month. So welcome to our Max family. So the number 1 step is to place your order every single month with a minimum of 100 points. And we like to train everybody to do your auto ship early in the month. It's like working your strategy early in the month. And then you teach others to do the same thing. So auto ship early month. I always say day 1. But it's totally up to you. Some of you, you might have certain times of the month where you have paychecks from your jobs. I mean, you got to work that around your business. So step number 2 is senior associate, and that requires you to introduce 2 new associates. One that's going to sign up, you put them on the left. One that's going to sign up, you put them on the right. So you got your 2 new people. The only time the first few people you're not strategizing that way is if they happen to be family. You don't want to separate family. You don't put one on the left and one on the right. You want to make sure you keep your family together. If you're talking to a group of friends and they're all hanging out together, you don't want to create competition with friends. You want to create momentum, right? So always left and right, but think of that when you're positioning people. Number 3 is to execute the 6 strategy, 631 strategy. Chris, you can go into detail on that on the next page. Yep. And then by doing the strategy in number 3, you're going to reach bronze, number 4. So this is a strategy, you guys. You don't have to think about it. It's literally laid out for all of you at the beginning of the month. It's just a matter of saying, okay, who are my six? Who are the people that I'd like to partner with? Start creating your list. Start doing invites. Invite people to the presentations. Go have a coffee with somebody. Whatever it is for you to build. Do as much of this within your first couple weeks. Get the numbers in early, because the rest is the answering questions, the follow-up, doing that third-party validation to solidify the growth that's going to happen in that qualifying month. And that's the strategy of building this. Okay, so Chris, you can go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact here is there's two strategy, and then we're going to go back to the old way of doing this because the prime is still available. And I want to walk you through that also. But this is a strategy with a 631 where you sponsor your 6 associates. Okay. And remember, hit the iron while the iron is hot. If your prospect, if your associate is new, they see the possibilities, they're excited about the possibility of adding an income. You don't want them to wait 7 months to 9 months to a year before their first recruit comes in, right? So it's really important that we immediately start working by targeting their prospect. And there's a way to do this without them feeling like they're harassing their families and friends, because folks, let's face it, we're offering a really, really important product here, which in turn is providing a great income revenue to subsidize wherever it is that they're trying to do. So the fact here is this represents those 6 people that you have personally enrolled. Okay. And the key is, and I have other slides. I mean, this is a PowerPoint with the actual steps, but I'm not going to come back to this once I pass it. I just want to walk you through this. See, each of those 6 that you are personally introducing to the business, you want to help them each get 3. Okay. You want to help them each get 3. So your role, your job is to help them starting connecting, with their social environment, who might be interested to make some extra money, who might be interested to try this product, whatever the situation. I mean, you guys have seen, we've done these trainings for years, so you can go back and find whatever you're looking for as far as the prospecting aspect and everything else. But the fact is, once they're in, then you place them in here. These are each of those 3 that they have personally recruited. And again, we have other slides very quickly. I'll walk you through them. And as you're doing this, what's happening is the points is starting to accumulate based on the fact that each of those 3 needs to get 1. So when you start computing this, it becomes quite significant, which is the reason why you will reach the target of your bronze, because bronze requires 2,000 CV on your left team and 2,000 CV on your right team. And if you don't know the compensation plan, I do recommend for you to go back and look for a playlist that says compensation plan training and just listen to any of the files that are there. And I guarantee you're going to find a segment that talks about the left team and the right team and the points and everything else. Okay. So I don't need to do this here and repeat it. So this is just to represent the 6, 3, 1. These are your 6. 3 is each of those 6 gets 3, right? And each of those 3 get 1. And that's the reason why you have a little box on each of those 3. And then from there, this is exactly what the PowerPoint represents over here. Okay. And I've done a training, and that's what Demi was saying. If you go to the board and the video training associated with that PDF that represents the slide that we were just showing you a moment ago, we'll go through all of these steps. Sorry, my mouse is going a little fast here. And then there's, okay, step 1, step 2, right? So this is when you start recruiting your 6 associates, and then you each of those 6, you get each of those 6 to get their 3 each, and so forth, and eventually get each of those 3 to get 1 each. And this is how you end up being a consistent bronze every single month. And this is really focusing on the binary structure, the binary team, on how you choose to build it. And then from there, that's when you start, understanding the process. Okay. So I'm not going to go through the entire training here. So that was the training PowerPoint. And the other thing that also I want to copy over here, let me just go get that. okay, is that form, which again, I just want to show this. Okay. Just one moment, guys. Okay, this will be easier. Control C, Control V. Okay. So this is the exact document that we were showing you from the boards. This is exactly what the board points to, this exact document, okay? So these are the two first links that I want to share with you in reference to the strategy on building for bronze. Now, we want to build the bronze with the primes. Some of you actually like the prime. And the reason why in some different markets it's not popular, it's because once upon a time, let me just go get it over here.
You'll reach prime 1 by doing the 631 anyways.
In fact, exactly. If you do 631, it's the foundation to actually do the same thing by utilizing the prime 1. So what's happening here is, if you recall, the authorship, senior associates, the same thing, but instead of 631 is to achieve prime bonus level 1, which means that you've sponsored 5 associates on your first level. We're telling you to go get 6, okay? Because 6 actually computes better to get to the bronze by making sure that we duplicate the process where each of those 6 gets 3 in each of those 2. But at the end of the day, if you get to prime 1, okay, and you're simply teach them to get to prime 1, what's happening is also by default, it will take you to bronze, okay? So what's really interesting here is to finish my reasoning as to why it lost its appeal in different markets, is because once upon a time, the prime bonus had a certain value to it that some of the markets was actually living full-time on. And as the economy took a huge dump, excuse me for the expression, then everything increased in price, everything changed, and Max, as you know, needed to do some revision. As you know, I don't know if you've bought some cheese lately or just some bread lately, but some cheese that used to, a block of cheese that used to be $3, $4 is like $11 now. It's like, are you kidding me? Right? So the point here is the cost of living has changed. And because of that, Max has also need to absorb all of that, plus the exchange rate in different markets that increased a massive gap. So what's happening here is the money that used to be provided on prime level 1 has decreased to a point where it was not as attractive. And in some markets, instead of utilizing the prime 1 as a building block to get the 500 CV every single time you have a new person coming into the business, they were focusing on the income that the prime bonus 1 was generating. And because that income is not the same, and they never really focus on the point system, which is really what the 631 does, it focuses on the points system, then it lost its appeal. Well, for the North American market, honestly, the prime 1 income was never sufficient for a lifestyle, right? For us, it's paying your gas for this month or part of your condo fees or whatever, right? But in some markets, it was enough money to live on a monthly basis. So that's why different market, different mindset, different habits, different culture will create different kind of behaviors. But the prime 1 is really there where if you sponsor 5 people, and that's what we're saying over here, it will generate a minimum of 500 CV, which we know it's a bit more than that. So if every person in your team are reaching prime 1, by default, you're also going to get the volume on the left team and on the right team that will push you to a bronze to have 2000 CV on the left, 2000 CV on the right. Okay, so this is what this represents over here. And that was the old chart that we had over here where you sponsor your 5 and you help each of those 5 to get their own 5 and they become prime level 1, you become prime level 2, but that volume will push you to a bronze. So whatever strategy you feel is appropriate for you, then, you know, utilize that strategy. And again, the map that again, and the same thing that's in the PowerPoint, it's also available here individually, which can also be accessible. And again, I'll put it on the comment section. So to summarize, the point that's very important here is to become a bronze factory. And every single one of you have to reach the bronze. If you reach the bronze on a monthly basis, then you qualify to start teaching others to reach the bronze. And this is the target. Now, it's entirely up to you, but folks, I'm telling you that this industry is growing in popularity. It really, really is. And there's one thing I can rely on. I'm sure many of you have your retirement accounts and you have your investments and your RSPs and whatever. You probably saw a huge hit on that, right? Well, I'm sure eventually it will adjust, but the point here is the income from a network marketing company has never stopped. It fluctuates, but it's never stopped. And this is something that is really important because in North America, in Canada and the United States, folks, in the next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be some huge shift on how people will earn an income. And I'm telling you that network marketing is at the forefront of that. It's at the forefront of that. And what you can rely on is the credibility behind what we have to offer to the inline consumer. We're not offering a luxury product. We're actually offering a very important product in our society that are dealing with a very common problem. Okay. So at the end of the day, once you've covered the team support, and we've covered how to access the board, we've covered the onboarding process, we've covered the 2 different strategies for you to reach to bronze, which is a 631 or building the primes, whatever suits you best. And then from there, the next thing that's very important, which never ceases to amaze me, is when you tell people, have you logged into your, have you ever logged into your Max back office? And most people have not. Most people have not. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to log into my back office because I don't want to, expose our personal data. But the point that's really, really, really important is every single one of you and every single associates in your team should be able to log into their own back office to be able to visualize what's happening, what's the volume that I have on the left, what's the volume I have on the right, how far I am to reach the bronze level. And this is very, very, very critical. Tammy, do you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I think the key is for everyone to get familiar with everything that we have in front of us to build our businesses. We're entrepreneurs. So as an entrepreneur, we need to be up in the front end of knowing what we have available for people to leverage, right? So the moment somebody gets started, you set up a Zoom session, you walk them through, show them how to go to their website. One of the first, I don't overwhelm people on their website. I tell them to take their time to have a look at it. But I want to teach them how to sign people up into business, because the moment I take somebody there, now they're starting to be excited about getting people into their business. So I go right to join, and I go right to packages.
Okay. And while we're here,
I go right to product packages on the join, and I bring them to the most popular packages. That's what I do as an associate. I show them how to sign somebody up. I go to the associate first.
Yeah.
Everything I do is strategy, by the way. I have a plan to move people forward. So if like once I walk them through associate, I let them know they can also sign up preferred customers, and they don't have access to earn an income. But I walk them through the process. But in the associate, Chris, scroll up, pick a product package there.
Okay, which one would you want me to pick?
Product package on the top in the gray. You've got nutritionals. Go product package.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, I show the most popular packages that people are taking. And if you're in the United States, okay, scroll, or Canada, these are the two: active, intro, and momentum pack. Those are the two packages that I show people. And from there, we get into discussion. They decide which one they want to take. If it's something that's a little bit too much of a stretch to them, I share the different value on, for example, to Celgevity. If you scroll down a bit, Chris, the last one on the bottom. Okay, if they choose this package, they have to pay the $25. Where the intro pack, or sorry, the active pack, max active intro enrollment pack, that one has the two Celgevity. You've got ATP and Enfuse, and the 25 is included. So when you look at the value, they're almost getting a month's worth of product free. Okay, so that's how I communicate to teach people how to get people to choose one of the two package, the active or the momentum.
You know, for example,
and this is what I do, you guys. When I sign somebody up, I go right into there and I teach them how to do that. Initially, that's what I teach them how to do. And then we go into the boards, we go into the onboarding process, and then we go into creating their contact list. Now they're excited to sign people up. They know how to sign people up and join people. So they're excited to create their list, start inviting people, get them on the Zoom sessions. If they're local, they can meet up with them, even better. If not, Zoom works. We're trying to create that environment now where we're getting out a little bit more. I find people are more open, obviously, when they get to see you. And they're excited too.
Now,
But,
if someone wants to
if
try
you're
the
not-
product,
If you're building a market, you're not there, obviously you're doing Zoom.
if someone wants to try the product, for example, okay, one thing that you can do is that you just select the product, put it in the cart, and you can actually share the link. Now, it wants to know who is that person. So Max needs to associate this cell to someone. So I'm going to put 40. Okay, don't use this number. That's my ID, just for the example here. And in this case, I'd like to sign up a preferred customer, for example. It's copied. Okay, so then you can turn around and let me just start another browser here. Okay, just give it a second to start. Here you are. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So from there, you can turn around, send him that link, and when you click that link, what's going to happen is it takes them right into the area that they need to fill in to buy the product. Okay. And voila. Okay. So it knows that it's me. That would be you. And you just go ahead and fill the information. You can do a Zoom session or whatever. Sometimes people are a little bit private with their credit card, which is very understandable today. And here we are. Okay. And the thing is that they can change things as they see fit, right? If let's say they would like to order it for 3 months and get on auto ship, obviously the price will decrease. That is not a problem there. Okay. So again, it was just kind of food for thought. While we're here, where some people say, well, I'd like to try the product, and it might be an approach. If they're ready to sign up, then you could do the same thing, right? You would just basically, in this case, select the package. So let me just go back over here. Let me get rid of that. And okay. And then I would select the package. Let's go product packs. And I would select, where is it? This one here, add to cart. Okay. And then you just go ahead and you share the link. And this time you wanted to become an associate. Okay, so same thing. I'm showing this here, but you would actually send a link to an email for them to go and click on, or text or WhatsApp, whatever works. And again, same thing. So that could also facilitate the process. And if you're doing an Instagram video and you want people to just have a link to click on, you can also paste that link right there. And voila, the details are here. It recognizes who I am, and it sees the $25 over there. I noticed that sometimes the package doesn't show. Okay, so let's see if I do it a second time, if it shows again.
So while this is scrolling, one of the things that you can do, I know I've done it, is I went in and I created a link for everything, every single product individually. So I have that aside so that anytime I want to share a link, I also have it in my link tree. Mm-hmm. So if I'm promoting something on social media, and I say go to my link tree, click on switch, and the link is right there.
Yeah. So these are all.
So you can create that in your link tree as well. You can even do, any type of advertising on social media for packages as well, for business partner packages. So
my point was to bring up the fact that you have this very powerful link over here where you can actually utilize and access. And this is what I mean is you need to be familiar with the context of what the Max website can do, because it's actually quite powerful. And most importantly is for people to be able to see their volume. Again, what's the target? Our target, we want to become a bronze. We need 2,000 on your left, 2,000 on your right, and they can see the volume occurring. They can see who's active, who's ordered the next month. So you don't have to start micromanaging your team and telling, you have to place your order ship. Hey, don't forget to place your order. And I mean, this is not a fun business to be part of. It's nice when people take care of their own. Okay. So that's that. And the last thing I want to share with you here, which I think is very important, is I know it seems a little messy here. So let's go weekly. So you can see here that we have an agenda of a lot of different activities. And I know that Maripol has mentioned to me that there's some things that we need to work on in reference to the some of the links that she's created, and we'll fix that, Maripol. But at the end of the day, you see the Go for Diamond call is over here. We have the MVPs Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. There's Lucy that's doing also her things. And let me know, Lucy. So if I may suggest, look at the calendars over here and familiarize yourself with the content. Like we have the accountability programs or calls that are taking place on a regular basis. So there's a lot of really good stuff here on the calendar that you can take advantage of. Okay, so for example, tomorrow it's Bill and Linda, right? So the details are here and the link is there. And by the way, I've increased my email. I have unlimited email sent now instead of my limit. So you'll be receiving a bit more active team emails because there's more content to be, and I really want to help promote your activities on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. All of you are phenomenal presenters. You're doing fantastic, and the world needs to hear your voice. Now, I don't recommend you just rely on me to promote you. You need to promote yourself also within your own social environment. Remember, people don't care who I am. They don't know who I am. They don't know me from Adam, but they know you, they like you, they trust you. So when you post within your social media, your social environment, and then I turn around and they see something else that they might have seen, because they're connected on Active Team or whatever, then it creates more exposure for you. Okay. So this is the last thing I wanted to mention is the Active Team calendar, which can be accessed from the website, or again, the link will be added onto this video after the video is uploaded. Okay, so that's kind of what we wanted to share here this evening, and getting started and kind of preparing for the month. But this is something that every single one of you should. Okay, what has happened here? I said speaker full screen. Oh, I see. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I got too many things on my screen. There we go. So this is what I want to share with you here. And again, trying to keep this business simple, folks. Trying to make this let me rephrase that. What's important is you don't want to turn this into a doctor symposium discussion. Right? If it's too technical, people have no time. They will not, even though they're happy with the information, they are satisfied with how much you know, it will not give you the results that you're looking for. If you're looking to do this as a business, you got to treat it as a business. And people need to feel that they can handle the work. And really, what's the work is simply provide the information within their social environment and showing people what to click and where to click, and not to micromanage your team like a babysitting business. This is something that tends to turn off busy people. And the busy people tend to be the people that you're looking for. And there's certainly the people that are actually going to grow your organization. Any things you want to add to this, Tatami?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. They're going to build this with or without you. And those are the people you definitely want to attract in the business. So what's really important is again, it's to go up the ranks, set your targets, look at where you're at right now, look at your volumes at the end of the month. For example, the end of June, look at your volumes. Where do you want to be in your volumes, in your income at the end of July, and then start the strategy 631 at the beginning. So that requires sponsoring. And then once you sponsor somebody, then that requires for you to immediately get them engaged in connecting with their website, knowing how to sign people up, knowing the onboarding process. By the way, there's a training on Saturday, Strong Max Women. We're working on the PowerPoint right now, but it's all about the boards, and we're mainly going to go through the onboarding process. So I highly recommend everybody get on that so you know what's available and how you can tweak it a bit, and for your own personal messages, because everything is there. I don't know if you're taking the time to really look at this stuff, but that one first folder will get somebody started right off the bat. And you don't have to babysit because there's assignments, and you just send a quick message and you move on, and they have to get back to you on them finishing the assignment. And as soon as the assignment's done, then you send them the next message, and then you move on, and you start building your business. So it's a system that is really, really duplicatable. And once you get the hang of it, because I know anything new, it requires learning, right? Everything new requires learning. So go through it, get on this session on Saturday, because I do want to spend a lot of time focusing on that, although we'll go through some other folders. But that's the most important thing, is the basics. The basics will take you all the way to the top.
So in closing, folks, is treat this business as a business. Mm-hmm. And one thing, folks, is fortune favors the bold. If you're shy and afraid to offend someone, you are going to lose at the end. There's ways to do this without offending anybody. You are giving people an opportunity, and you are giving people a way of living a better quality of life. We know that. You all know that. So you got to get over that fear of disturbing or pushing something down their throat. There's no such thing. Every one of you, I know you, every one of you personally, and none of you do that. So don't let this, get in the way. If someone looks at you funny because you're coming in from an industry that they don't really understand, simply say, you know what, I completely get it. And I really appreciate you taking the time. And you know what, if it's something you're not open to or interested in, don't worry about it. It's something I truly believe in. And I've seen what's happening around the world. And I just thought you should know. That's it. That's all. So don't fear the naysayers, because the naysayers are the crabs that will keep you down with them. because I'm telling you, this economy is not going to change anytime soon. It's going to be like this for a while, but there's ways to get out of that what's the word, that environment that is not so fruitful, and is to provide the kind of business that gives you a residual, and not just that gives you a residual, but provide a tangible service to society. That's the reason why we pay our taxes in Canada and in the United States. It's a good thing. That means the government respect the business, and we contribute to our economy. It's as simple as that. So you got to treat it as a business, and you can't shy away from the fact that it's network marketing. I'm telling you, it is the way of the future. So
I think deep down, Chris, when you listen to people,
mhm.
it's because something's happened that they were disillusioned or hurt. So it's important just to be a great listener and find out where they're coming from. And you'll be surprised. I brought so many people into network marketing in 25 years that said, never again I would do network marketing, and they're in my business. So, and they say, once they're in the culture, they're like, oh my gosh, Max is so different. And then they're telling other people that, right? I've had experiences. Janice, you were one of those. I remember when we sat in a coffee shop, you know, of course. Yeah. I mean, there's different experiences with different people. And yeah, I mean, often it's people were disillusioned, or somebody hyped something that they just totally turned off, because that is such a turn off when people hype things. And that's what I love about Max.
I agree.
We
I'm one of those people that get turned off by the, you know, the silver tongue and the overselling and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it. And I'm Canadian, right? So it's, let me rephrase that. I'm a North American. So we're used to being oversold, and people are tired. So you don't have to be those people. You don't have to have that kind of approach. And folks, don't think that you need to build in Africa to have success. I'm telling you, the North Americans need this stuff, and they need it bad, more than they realize, really bad. And the fact is, we have the solution. We have the solution. Not only just for the financial aspect, but for the health aspect, which is so important. It is so important. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful that we have these products, you know, to deal with even in tough times that we had when we came back from our trip. Very, very, very grateful. So we'll end the call on this note, everybody. So we want to thank you for joining in. I know that Tammy, you want to talk a little bit about some activities that we're planning. So feel free to stick around if you want to. If you have some activities you need to do, or you're tired, feel free to sign off. But those of you that wants to hear about some of the activities that we're planning, stick around. So Tammy, I'm just going to stop the recording at this point. And thank you again, everybody, for attending.
All righty. So first of